You're watching the Head Coach Dave Moore Show, an inside look in UWG men's basketball with Head Coach Dave Moore. Now here's your host, Bryant Gray.
Hey guys, welcome into episode 2 of the Head Coach Dave Moore Show. Alongside Coach Moore, I'm Bryant Gray. Coach, welcome back in.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Well, in the early stages of December, 5-1 overall, 5-0 in the conference, best start in 20 years. Got to be proud of the performance on the court so far.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we had some adversity in the preseason. Had some injuries, had some rough scrimmages. We learned from those, and I think we've gotten off to a good start. And the league is just so tough playing these games in November and December. Just got to take them one at a time. But we're happy with the start, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with last Thursday. Went down to Valdosta. In the complex, it's always been kind of a tough place to play. You know, they got all the bells and whistles and whatnot.
Sure.
Talk about how you were able to stay composed in that contest.
Well, I mean, we got guys on the team that have won there before, veteran guys that have had big wins there. I was counting it up when we were there. That was Mike Zebatakis' 9th game in the complex. So that's a lot of games as a player, So, and it was my 9th game there too. So there's some familiarity there. We know we can win there. We know how we got to play them and what we got to do to be successful. But it was another dogfight, and they're really good. They played hard. They were coming off a tough travel where they got back from Mississippi College a couple days before. That was very, very late, But we had a long travel too, and that's how the league is sometimes. You go through those rough stretches of the conference schedule, and it was a dogfight, and we were lucky to come out on top.
Absolutely, and then you kind of stuffed their number one guy, Muhammad Fofana, for the first half. Then he kind of picked up his pace, scoring 16 straight, I think it was, to start the second half for the Blazers. Talk about how you were kind of able to just overcome that hot start.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have their runs. They can really score. One of the best scoring teams in the league, and we got off to a really good start. We were making shots. Got a decent lead, and you just know there's going to be ebbs and flows to the games. There's going to be ups and downs. We knew they were going to make their run, and Muhammad Fofana is one of their guys that's a real matchup problem. 6'8" forward that can play inside and out, and Jacoby Owens is one of their guys too, and we held him to one of his a below average game for him. But Fofana was the guy that got going downhill off the bounce, and he's tough to deal with. We tried to mix in some zone. Colton Griffin did a nice job, and has become one of our our best defenders and a guy that we can really rely on to help us when guys get going.
Absolutely. And then that pushed you to 4-0 in the conference. And then we hosted West Florida on Sunday in the Coliseum. Picked up another big win, 69-62 over the Argonauts. And once again, you got to point to that defense. Schofield comes in, averaging almost 17 a game. You hold him to 9.
Yeah.
And you hold him to 62 points, which is, I think, second lowest of the season for him. So,
yeah, it was a good defensive performance, and we needed it because we weren't very good offensively. We turned the ball over, I think it was 16 times. One of the first times all year that we've had a negative assist-to-turnover ratio. We gave up, I think, 19 points off the turnovers. So we had to dig out of that hole. Holding Daniel Schofield to no points in the second half was a huge key. I mean, he's a first-team All-League player. He's one of the better scorers, big guards in our league that can really score. And, Mike Zebatakis really worked hard on him. Colton Griffin had some major minutes on him too. And, just trying to limit him and chase him everywhere and contest shots. And we were able to do that. And, we overcame the turnovers with some defense that we really needed. And, we got by.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Zebatakis because he's leading the conference in scoring, or he was after that game.
Yeah.
And he has an uncharacteristic 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
Talk about how, as a graduate student, he had that composure to overcome that toughness that was those 7 turnovers.
Yeah, well, he's been there before. He's had some rough games like that where he's had some bad turnovers. I think, his turnovers came from Mike trying to make something happen, and sometimes when he's trying to make something happen, there's not a whole lot there, and not many of those turnovers, thank goodness, were live ball turnovers where they could go the other way and get points off of them. But, it was uncharacteristic for Mike. He knows he's got to take better care of the ball, but boy, did he make some timely baskets for us. And, he's shot a high percentage this season so far. He's been really efficient. from threes and twos. And his ability to get to the foul line has been important for us. And his scoring is critical for what we're doing. But he also battled on the glass. And, really proud of Mike, how he kept his poise. And we made enough plays at the end. And, Zadie Jackson had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, talking about Zadie, I think he put up a new career or UWG career high 22. Yeah. He looks like he's the guy that he's going to ISO top of the key at the late game situation and get to the basket.
Yeah, he wants the ball in his hands. He's really good in the pick and roll. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he's got a strong body. He doesn't get pushed off his spot. He doesn't get knocked off balance a ton, and he can finish in traffic around the rim. And he's had some really timely baskets against West Florida, went in there and, I think got us a 6-point lead and was really, really key and knocked down a couple jump shots that they were giving him. And he's got to prove that he can do that, and he put that on tape, which was good to see. But Zadie's a really hard worker and a really smart player. And when him and Mike are scoring the ball like that, it gives us a great 1-2 punch.
Absolutely. And then another guy I forgot to mention against the Valdosta game, Camden Atlan, breakout game against Valdosta, 16 points or so.
Yeah.
He's just coming into his own, coming off the injury.
Yeah, he's getting his legs back. He's getting his feel in the game. Gave us a big burst. Him and JJ Barnes off our bench, I think combined for 26 points and 14 rebounds off the bench. Which was a huge key and really gave us some bench scoring that we needed at Valdosta State. And, Cam's continuing to work and rehab back from the injury, and he's going to get better and better. We haven't seen yet what he can be. We've seen glimpses of it, and certainly at Valdosta State, he showed us, on the backboard, and then he can push the break, and he can score in traffic, and we got him a couple post-ups against some smaller guards that he can really do damage with. So he's a versatile guy and a piece that's going to be exciting for us as we move forward.
Right, and now after playing 2 times in 4 days, you get a whole week off.
Yeah.
We're off till Sunday. We go down to AUM, and they're kind of middle of the pack, 4-4 overall, yep. I believe. Talk about the prep for the Warhawks.
Yeah, Coach Chaney does a great job with his group. They got a veteran group. They got, I believe, 3 new junior college, or not junior college, but Division I transfers. In addition, to some returners that were valuable pieces for them last year. So just had a big win against Mississippi College this past weekend, who's a very good team in our league. So we're going to have our hands full. It's a physical game usually with AUM. They got good size, and then they got guards that can score. So big key against AUM, you got to be able to score the ball. You got to be able to match some of their scoring, and you got to be able to limit them inside. If they're getting that inside-outside scoring punch, they can beat anybody in our league. We've got to take some of that stuff away. The point guard they got is a Division I transfer that's had a really good season so far, had 32 points against Mississippi College. So it's going to be a challenge for us to go down there and win. It's good to have the week here in exam week. We'll go a little bit shorter these next couple days and give the guys a little bit of a rest as they finish up exams. But then, as the end of the week starts to come, we'll heat up with our preparation and all that stuff. But the break is coming at a good time. Hopefully we can, recalibrate, continue to get better. And that's the goal as we move forward, is to, nobody stays the same. You're either going to get better or you're going to get worse. And, hopefully this is a group of guys that they're hungry to get better, and we do that every day.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you coming up this weekend. And that's going to do it for us here on episode 2 of the Dave Moore Show. Catch us next week, same time, same place for episode 3. Coach, see you next week.
Thanks, Brian.